quitting gambling is not just about stopping the activity of rolling dice or even pressing the button these days, but it's really about addressing the systems in your brain, your environment, and your finances that keep the behavior repeating. Gambling habits are usually at the intersection of brain chemistry, your relationship with money, and your relationship with boredom and stress. There's this book that's called Atomic Habits by a man named James Clear. And in this book, he outlines how every habit follows a 4-step loop. You have what's called the cue, you have a craving, you have a response, and then you have a reward. Now let's map that out directly to how this looks when you're gambling. So the first thing that you have is the cue, which is essentially the trigger. And this is what starts the behavior. So for gambling, common cues would include boredom, stress or anxiety, financial pressure, or you take a loss and then you start chasing after it. Maybe it's a notification from a betting app on your phone, or being in a bar, or just seeing sports on TV. This is the cue, and this is not the problem per se, this is just the signal that then starts the entire process. So the next thing is the craving, and this is the urge, right? And this is what your brain wants when it sees the cue. It's not actually money, like a lot of people might assume, but it's actually the stimulation. It's the escape, relief from stress. It's this feeling of anticipation, that moment of what if. That is the actual craving. Your brain gets addicted to uncertainty and the feeling of anticipation, not just winning. The next thing that comes is the response, and this is the actual behavior itself. It could be as simple as opening up an app on your phone. It could be placing the bet. It could be also depositing money so that you can place the bet. If the craving is strong enough, then the response happens almost automatically. And the next piece of this that happens is called the reward. And this is what makes the habit stick. Even if you lose money, you still get the dopamine that gets released from the anticipation. You still get to spend some time escaping from whatever situation you're dealing with. You get that temporary relief from boredom. And that's why losing doesn't stop the behavior. The reward is the feeling, not the outcome. Now, the reason this loop is so dangerous is because after the reward, your brain says, well, that accomplished what I was looking for, so let's do it again. And so the loop resets. You get the cue, the craving, the response, the reward, and then you repeat. So if you want to actually break the habit, if you actually want to quit gambling, it's not just about stop gambling. It's like you need to really disrupt the loop at each level. And so the first thing that you want to do is identify your cues. You need awareness before control. So ask, when do you feel the urge? What emotion is present? Maybe even think about what time of day is it that this is occurring. And then the second thing that you want to do is start to remove those cues from your life. You want to make it harder to even start. So delete betting apps, block gambling sites, unfollow betting content and block people who are talking about it. And you want to avoid environments that are tied to gambling. If the cue disappears, then the entire chain that comes after that can break down. Now, the third thing is to replace the craving, and this is the big one. Once you remove gambling, if you don't replace that stimulation, your brain is going to look for it somewhere. So think about healthy replacements like competition, such as participating in sports or even doing some lifting, martial arts, things of that nature. Or think about ways that you can spend your time working on still exercising the strategy side of your brain, playing chess or a different strategy game. Building something can also be a good way to replace the dopamine. You know, start working on a business, start a coding project, or investing and doing research. Or find some other way to progress your skill in some area of life. It could be language learning, it could be instruments, anything like that. The key shift here is you're also trying to replace the instant reward that you get from placing a bet to seeing the benefits of delayed gratification. Finally, you want to redefine the reward. You need to teach your brain that something else is worth your time. And that's going to be progress, mastery, discipline, it could be financial stability, or a form of long-term freedom that you get from it. The key thing to understand here is that gambling is not a money problem, right? This is a habit loop issue. And once you understand this loop of cue, craving, response, and reward, you stop seeing the issues that you have as a lack of discipline and really just a lack of systems that you've built. And you can build these systems to actually prevent yourself from going deeper down the hole of gambling. I personally think that what's happening with gambling and this massive epidemic that's occurring is a really big issue. And so we've actually created an app. It's called No Dice, and it's designed to help you to actually track, monitor, and actually change your gambling habits. And for the first 500 users, we're actually giving away free memberships. So you can click the link in the description to sign up for the wait list for No Dice if we haven't launched it just yet. And if you think that this is something that might be helpful for someone else, be sure to send them this video and they can hopefully get access to this for free if we haven't already given away the 500 memberships. So get that done. And if this was helpful to you at all, hit that like button and drop a comment to let me know. And other than that, I do hope it was helpful. And until next time, peace.